Yeah, it's funny. You guys are like, it looks like he had a bow tie. And I'm looking. I'm like, it does look like he has a bow tie. I'm like, what is that? Yeah, but it's his collar separated, I guess. All right, all right, all right. All right, guys. Jerry, thank you for the 5x5. Mother of all crisis. All right. Flown Grown, Donald, Patty, Kimberly, Dobie, Krista, Marilyn, Visitor, Jerry, thank you for the 5x5. Loretta, thank you for the 5x5. Let's see. Flown Grown, Kenzo, Colt, Love Pug, Groundhog, Volva Media, Standalone, Lori, thank you for the 5x5. Edmund, Ozark, Vegan, Frank, Eric, Base Bunny, Trail Name, Wayne, thank you for the 5x5. Betty, Los, Sue, thank you for the 5x5. Toto, Raccoon Eyes, Tom Tom, thank you for the 5x5. Ed Lee, The Watchman, Teresa, GMA, Joe, Teddy, Moose, thank you for the Anonymous, excuse me, thank you for the 5x5. Jeep Dog, Trapper Bob, Monica, Virginia, thank you for the 5x5. Douglas, Amuse, Comet Moon, Crow, thank you for the 5x5. Raccoon Eyes, thank you for the 5x5 on Rumble. Appreciate it. Rick, thank you for the 5x5 on YouTube. All right, guys. So, again, the Epstein files, guys, there's a lot of paperwork here. Now, I'm a little confused. I keep hearing two different uh, numbers. Is it is it 3 million pages or 3 million files? That's what, because I keep hearing both. I keep hearing pages and files. Though I did hear if you stack the papers on top of each other, that it would be three times taller than the um, Statue of Liberty, or two times taller than the Empire State Building. Right, you choose. Right. So again, it it's a lot of paperwork. A lot of paperwork. So, um, like I was saying before, guys, look at Doctor Sleep. Watch that movie and look what happens. You'll be like, what the hell? And that's the kind of shit that they do. In that movie, I was talking to Salo. It's a Criterion version, by the way. In that movie, they didn't mention the whole adrenochrome thing. They just said that these people did the savagery at the end. So keep that in mind. This is not going to be too long. Maria Jackson, Prep to Adapt. Thank you for the 5x5 on Rumble. Guess it's time for me to share. Anyway, um, tonight, guys, on the Angry Truth, we are going to talk about, give me a second, how this is dividing us, right? And the craziness, guys, is that maybe this is done on purpose. Maybe this whole division thing was done so that we can attack one another and not attack the powers that be, right? How come we're not focused on that? You know, we should be focused on the people in charge and not one another, but instead they're turning us against one another because you still have morons that believe Trump is innocent. You still have morons that believe the Clinton administration and the Biden administration is innocent. You still have idiots that believe that Kamala Harris was going to be a great president for this country. That's a good one. You still have people believing that our politicians are working for us. People actually think this shit. It's bizarre. Device distraction. Well, yeah, listen, the divide is to distract us. I know that. We know that. But the morons of the world don't know that. They think that they're fighting this righteous cause by sticking up for a president who doesn't give a shit about them. And the craziness, guys, is that the Second Amendment is going to be under attack in a way that people never thought they saw coming. Because of Alex Preddy, the right is starting to blame him for any new gun movement against guns comes out. They're starting to blame him. I'm like, oh wait, so the guy that every other shooting that happened, you were promoting gun carrying, but this guy, they're like, no, he brought it to a riot. He shouldn't have. He absolutely should have. That's his God-given right. I said that before. I'll say it again. Granted, if he would have done something, stupid with that gun, that would have been a different story. But he didn't. Yeah, and people are trying to, like, trying to make him the enemy, while then you have people, the left, trying to make him look like this guardian angel. They got pictures of him holding the women that he was protecting with wings and shit. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. This dude wasn't that guy. Granted, listen, he didn't do anything. He was being dumb, but he didn't do anything that deserved him to get shot. But he also wasn't a godsend. Let's not make this man into an angel. Like, the pictures they have of him, I'm like, holy shit, dude. Then they try to masculine him up. They try to make him look like a man, with a broad shoulders. He's a weasel. He's from a weasel tribe of people, man. They have a weaselly look. You can't make a weaselly group of people look like men. But they tried, man. They were out there with the pictures and shit. His position changed and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, yo, AI. And they know what they said to AI? They said, hey, AI, make this little weaselly rat man look manlier. And that's the picture came out. Anonymous, we are all sheeps to a point. The problem is, and now I'm starting to see it, those of us who are going to be considered crazy, we stand on an island by ourselves. I'm starting to see that. I don't want to be too far removed where I'm wearing a fucking tinfoil hat and living in the woods, screaming at trees because the trees are moving. I don't want to be that guy. But we stand on an island by ourselves, a lot of us, because there's just so much going on, and a lot I do not believe. There are things that are going to happen now. I'm just going to like, nope, that's not true. And granted, I give everything a fair shake, but there's certain things that I just don't. User said, many gun owners think that they are supporters of the two-way just because they own a gun. No, it goes far deeper than that. And that's what I don't understand. I thought that gun owners, this is recent, guys. This is really recent. I thought that every gun owner was just like staunch, on the Second Amendment. Like, there's no wavering. There's no this. You're not going to restrict that. You're not going to tell me I can't own this, and that. I thought that that's what everybody that owned a gun, I thought they stood on that ground. They don't. You got a bunch of bitch-ass bitches here in New York City that gave up 90% of those rights. It's why we can only have, 9 rounds or 10 rounds in a mag. It's why you got to pin your clips. I was like, if I owned a gun, I wouldn't be doing any of that shit. Zero. But unfortunately, I don't own any because, I live in New York City as well. And it's always been my fear, too, that, I've seen it happen once where there's been fires in apartments and then you found weapons in the apartment because you're flipping shit over, you're trying to put fires out on beds, and then you flip it out and a fucking handgun comes rolling out of it. And you're like, so I always had that worry that would happen. So obviously if I had one, I would put it in a safe. But to get a gun here, you need to spend an absorbent amount of money. And then to get a safe, like the safe I want, would be like the mother of all safes. I would hope my floor could support that weight. I mean, it wouldn't be that big. It would be like my height, maybe a little smaller. But anyway. The Watchman. Here's the thing with the whole gun laws. All of a sudden, every Second Amendment or every gun owner became a fucking a legalese gun expert. They were just like, oh no, he wasn't supposed to be at a protest with a gun, and he shouldn't have. Shut the fuck up, you twat. This is why we are where we are with the Second Amendment, because you fucking people keep giving up more and more rights and letting these fucking lawmakers tell you where you can and can't carry your weapon. You can carry a weapon whatever the fuck you can, hence the right to bear arms. That's exactly what it means. It doesn't mean the right to bear arms, but protesting, church, mall, arcade, no. If you are a responsible gun owner, you can carry anywhere and everywhere you want. Now, for women, you should not be carrying your gun in your purse. I think that's a very stupid thing, especially if you have a child. I told you guys a story last week of a woman. I told you the story last week. This story happened, I think, 2-3 years ago. She had a gun in her purse. Well, someone pulled the gun out of the purse, shot her right in the face. She died in the supermarket. right? And because she had the gun in her purse, and I don't know what kind of trigger she had that the kid was allowed to pull that back and kill her. And again, people keep giving up their rights a little more at a time, a little more at a time. Here in New York City, New York State, we keep giving a little more, and then until we'll be left with rocks and what you call rocks and sticks, right? Someone says, I feel like your channel's shadow banned. Probably, Miss Ashley. Probably, I don't know. Well, New York right now they have a couple courses going through. I'm debating it, but I only have like a week or so to shell out $400 fucking dollars that I don't have for this gun permit thing to carry in New York City. But you know, and the truth be told, even if I got a carry, I don't think I'd be carrying everywhere, just because I'm so used to not carrying, and I'm so used to handling everything with my hands that it would take me some use to get it would take me some time to get used to. You know, that's the one thing. No gun equals run when they appear. But listen, what Martins, right? Martin, the way people treat guns too, they treat it like it's a radioactive like material. When a gun's on the table, like, oh my God, what is that? It's a gun, man. It's not gonna jump off the table and shoot you in the face. Not unless it was a 3-year-old child holding that weapon, but you know, it's bizarre, man. The way people treat one, they see a firearm, they're like, "What is that? What is it?" You see it in TV shows all the time. Like the one TV show, I forgot what it was. They were talking about getting a gun, and the cast was acting like a complete sack of shit bitches. They were just like, "Oh no, you shouldn't. They're horrible." They're not horrible. I mean, I'm sure knives can be considered horrible with the amount of stabbings that are on the rise. You don't see fucking people flipping out over knives because we use them on a daily basis. But yeah, man, a lot of bullshit's going on, and Shady isn't it a sad case? Oh, Nancy, what happened to that Nancy Gertrude? Is that the lady that went missing? Listen, man, I again, my conspiracy theory brain, it's the alarm bells are ringing. Though I know that her daughter has a lot of power and a lot of pull, and she's pulling out that power and pull, right? Because this lady went missing, they made it a crime scene, and now all of a sudden it's on the news everywhere. And I'm like, this shit happens on a daily basis. Why is this any different? But you know, nonetheless, she went missing, and I mean, I watched a press conference over this shit. I'm like, what, dude? We got the Jeffrey Epstein files and a lot of names being mentioned, and we're having a press conference over an old lady that went missing. And listen, I feel bad for the situation, but the lady's dead. You're not gonna find her. The constant news outlets, and every day there's a fucking article in it about this shit now. It's fucking yes, Bucky. It's a distraction. But it's not working. At least with some of us, it's not working. I mean, again, I know she has a lot of pull, she has a lot of power, but the FBI, the sheriff of that town that she was taken from. Listen, Trump won. Yeah, I mean, there's a little more to it. There's a little more to it. Yeah, I know who it is. I when I saw her, I was like, all right, your mother went missing. But again, that's the difference between you and I, right? If one of my kids went missing or my mother went missing, you know, and I wanted to do this, I wouldn't get this kind of fucking pull. You know, people want to talk about equality and the rich and this, that, and the third. This lady's showing her richness and her power. I'm like, I said, listen, it's an old lady, man. She lived a good life. You know, yeah, the lady isn't coming back, man. There's no way she's coming back. They're not gonna find her abused in a fucking tunnel somewhere. You know, she's dead. And being that it blew up the way it did, whoever has us like, yeah, we can't trade this lady in. There's no ransom, there's no nothing. So, you know, she's gone, man. Someone said, I would be living in New York if it wasn't for the gun laws there. Yeah, well, listen, I'm leaving New York just because, listen. Oh, Um, the next Angry Truth, Thursday night, I'm going to talk about how toast New York City is. New York City's done. D-O-N-E. Capital D-O-N-E. Done. Toast. Finished. And there's a side of me, because it's the more, I guess, cynical side of me, is actually happy that this is happening. But there is a threat of a couple things that could change the game and turn New York City right into Detroit overnight. There are more cops leaving right now. In fact, I don't want to give anything away because that's going to be the live stream for Thursday. But you guys are going to get a fucking kick out of what's going on in New York City. Like I said, a side of me is like it's warming my heart. Really is. I'm like, yes, New York City's crumbling. Mamdani's like, I can't. He's turning to his mother, who knew Jeffrey Epstein, by the way, turning to his mother and going, Mom, what do I do? My social democratic shit is not working. No, dick. It's not working because the previous mayor left you with a mess. Yes. So, again, the side of me, a little happy about this nonsense. But, yeah. And listen, that can bite me in the ass, but it would almost be worth it. Almost be worth it. But what happened March 11, 2020? I hate when people bring up dates I can't remember. But yes, I can't stand him. Nobody can. That little smug look, he's another one. What's up with these smug bitches? Like fucking Nick Fuentes and him. The punchable face crew, man. These are people like you just want to kick down a flight of fucking stairs. But you just like, they just got that look like. And then Mamdani, he was all about releasing the Epstein files. They should be released. Forgot that his mother was sucking Epstein's dick. And we have photos. Okay, so we don't have photos of that. But we have photos of Mamdani also hanging around Epstein. Just saying. Just saying. Also, what's her name? Trump's wife, Melania, is definitely a honeypot. Found out that she is connected to Epstein and was one of Epstein's girl. So now Epstein probably turns to Trump. How does my cum taste? Because that's what she was doing with Epstein. They were dating before. So let's not, again, pretend that fucking Trump never heard of Epstein. Remember when Trump said he never heard of Epstein, and then he sort of got caught out there, and he goes, "Oh, I was just joking." Remember that bullshit? This man, I mean, yo, the amount of lying that comes out of Trump is insane, and the fact that anybody believes him is fucking even worse. Melania's KGB, KGB, honeypot, whatever you want to call it, AZ Desert. It's all the same, man. It's all the same. But a couple more seconds and I'm gonna go off. Dude, I crashed on my couch like an old fucking man today. I almost fucking had a cane and slippers on. I was so fucking old. I mean, we had a horrendous night last night at the firehouse. Horrendous. Just busy all night. And when my son got here, we hung out and he was watching a movie and I fucking passed out like an old man in a chair. I was all crippled and shit. I was just like, I don't know what happened. I was just fucking, I went into old man mode. I was like, what the fuck, man? Uh-oh. You see that? This chair is almost done. No. This chair is also 20 years old. So there is that. Anyway. Sounds nice. What sounds nice? The old man sleeping on the couch? Like, I was all nestled up. Dude, I was like, what the fuck? And I woke up, I had a blanket on me, and I was all like, I thought I was in an old age home. Fucking, I could have sworn I heard the Golden Girls song in the background. I'm like, am I dead or am I in an old age home, right? Meanwhile, none of it was on. The TV was off. I was by myself. Don't berate slippers. I don't like slippers, but I can see the allure with them. That's the problem. You see what happens when you get old? When you fucking get old, shit that you looked at old people and laughed at them about, and you start like, now you're like, I see the allure. Like now I see the allure. I have a lazy boy, Mark. Now I see the allure with a robe and slippers. Fuck, man. I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? I'm slowly getting to fucking wearing slippers. Though there is a health thing with wearing slippers, especially if you walk around barefoot all the time. Your lack of sleep and me too need it more. Yeah, my sleep is out of control. It's I was doing good. Then I went to the firehouse last night, and it was just a busy night. And I knew it was going to be a busy night, so I set my brain to work that night so that I could get up and down for runs and shit like that with no problem. But when I got home, I was toast. Someone is asking for the Epstein file. Let's see. Nope, that's not it. Give me a second, Monchis. My little. All right, here it is. But it's in the chat again. The file. Oh, okay, so it's in there twice. Shady. Crimes don't increase, but psych patients get crazier when there's a full moon. Yeah, like my mother used to be a correction officer, so she would see during the full moon the fucking inmates be acting up. And the crazy shit is they'd be in their cells, they'd be screaming and yelling for fucking no reason, like the Wolfman. She goes, it was odd, man. She was like, we would put them in a cell. She goes, they would be a little rowdy during the day, but when we put them in the cell, she says they don't fucking shut up, like all night. And when I was in EMS, the psych patients, it would be through the roof. We'd be wrestling with EDPs, running after this one. You know, I mean, I guess crime somewhat increases, but it's more crazy people shit than actual crime. If that makes sense. Frank goes, we're not 26 anymore. I know that, man, but the slipper shit, you kidding me? I'm just like, man, like I'm like a good pair of slippers and walking around. I'm like, holy shit, man. It's just bad. Just bad at this age. You know, like I treasure my sleep. So I think I'm going to do one video and edit it tomorrow. But at least I gave myself time to do that. But yo, this slipper shit's crazy, man. Holy shit. And the robes, and they're like, and my apartment freezes. I have like, I'm on a corner apartment, so the wind whips through here every which fucking way. What was the craziest shit you seen a homeless guy do? I wasn't working EMS. I was off. I mean, I was working EMS at the time. But the guy was on the train giving himself a haircut with a lighter, right? Dan Rose, I'm probably going to be calling AARP in the next couple weeks. Wearing slippers. I'm like, yo, because that's the highlight of my gift giving. Socks, underwears, sleep shorts, slippers. I haven't worn slippers yet, but I'm getting close. I'm touching that slipper line. But I see the allure. But sleeper shorts are fucking the shit, man. Hudson Valley, I close the window. I like a cold room, but then I wake up and the room is freezing cold. And I'm like, fuck. Because a cold room puts me to sleep right away. Yes, a lighter. He was giving himself a haircut with a lighter, and he was like, ha, ha, ha. And he was like, ha, ha, ha. I was like, and I'm sitting right across from him. I'm staring at him going, and he's like, ha, ha, ha. And he's just fucking, and then the lady who was sitting like the next seat over between the door, on the other side of the door, she moved. And I'm like, I'm looking at her like, what the fuck is she? If he would have whipped out like a bottle or something, then I would have moved. But he was just giving himself a haircut. I was like, holy shit. I thought, listen, I also seen when I was a kid, I had to have been 8 or 9, there was a homeless dude sitting on 34th Street downtown in the middle of the street swinging his dick. Like, and this guy had a hammer. He was a homeless dude. He was like fucking swinging it around, and he was like telling the white lady, hey, white woman, you want to suck this? And he was like, but he was on the ground. He was laying on the floor, like posed like he was in a model and shit, and he was fucking swinging his dick around. I'm like, And my father's like, don't look, too fucking late. The man's sitting there, and then like with that, the cops jumped on him. They beat this man they beat the balls off this dude. It was insane. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, you know what? Now thinking about it, maybe he was burning the lights out of his head. I don't know what he was doing, but he was yeah, man. Listen, I used to do the hot water bottle thing when I was camping and put it by my feet. I would heat up the water, put it in a hot water bottle, put it in a sock, put it in the bottom of my sleeping bag, and that would keep me warm all night. Yeah, Miracle on 34th Street. That was great. That was like, and then you had like, the prostitutes walking up and down the block. This is back in like the days when 42nd Street was like, a shit show. Then you had prostitutes with their ass hanging out, and I'm looking at their asses like, wow. Again, as a kid, titties coming out of their turtlenecks and shit as they're walking down the block. Like, yeah, good times, man. Good times. That's how it was back then. It's not like that anymore. Being a cop in New York City is entertaining. It has to be. I mean, listen, cop, EMT, firefighter, it's all entertaining. The runs that we go on and the shit that we see and the stupidity that we deal with, insane. Insanity. Yes, before Giuliani. Giuliani, actually, Dinkins started cleaning the city up. Dinkins never got the respect for it. It was Dinkins who started under a couple of programs, and as the program started picking up and changing New York, Giuliani swooped in and said, I changed the city. So Giuliani did play a big part, but Dinkins was actually responsible for a lot of the changes in the beginning. Yes, the legal shooting galleries all over the city, too. There is that. Hip-hop started in the Bronx. Yes, hip-hop started in the Bronx. There used to be an argument between Bronx and Brooklyn or Queens. It was either Bronx, Queens, or Brooklyn. I can't remember who it was, but it started in the Bronx. There was a good Netflix show called The Get Down. If you want to see an interesting series on hip-hop, it should have been 2-3 seasons, but instead it was only one. But it was a good show called The Get Down. And cleverly done, by the way. Cleverly, brilliant fucking show. Should have had 1 or 2 seasons, but whatever. Good shows, especially talking about hip hop and shit. No one really wanted to watch it. Whatever. The Naked Cowboy probably took the job. The Naked Cowboy doesn't look strapping anymore. It looks like shit now. He's still doing it. From what I understand, he's still down there. But anyway, outside of that, guys, I'm going to go off the air now. I had enough. In about 1 minute, I'm going to end this, so it's an even half hour. But, yeah, I can see the Naked Cowboy taking the arm ticket. Absolutely. Everybody did, man. Everybody, a lot of the New Yorkers fell for it. Interesting. Someone says Studio 54 was a great disco. I don't know anything about that. I'm too young. I'm too young for Studio 54. That much I know. When old people say shit, I'm like, too young for that. Too fucking young. I do not know what that is. But soon they're going to be gone, and we're going to start talking about, like, you remember fucking Reading Rainbow? And people are like, that's old. You're fucking old. My kids break my balls now about being old. How fucking old I am. And now I'm talking about fucking slippers and robes and shit. Might as well start finding a place for a senior citizen home. Getting myself set up there. Get my slippers and my robe ready for that fucking adventure. Fucking shit show. This is stupid. Anyway, guys, I'm going off the air. I will see you guys Thursday for the double header. I will have a midweek report tomorrow morning as well. And I will be talking about what's going on with New York City Thursday night. Because you guys are going to like this. At least I'm going to like it. I'm going to enjoy the shit out of it. Right? Other than that, guys, good night. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it as always. I was little when Studio 54 was hopping. Yeah, I think I was like 5 or 6 when it was up, but I never went. I'm a child, man. I can't go to that place. And the fleece robe is the shit, by the way. Absolutely.